It's the third arc in Andor that makes the show absolutely perfect. We get so much in these next 4 episodes, and it culminates in maybe the best episode by far that I've even just ever seen. I could put this episode, the episode 10 of Andor, up against anything I've ever seen other than films and say this was better. And there's one reason for that. There's one clear reason for that, because these characters live out so clearly what they say they believe. Mon Mothma, Luthen, Deidre, Cassian, Kino Loy, the list goes on. But these characters that have been developed and some that are going to be introduced to us are given motivations, and then those motivations and beliefs, things that they say they hold to, are exactly what determines the actions they take. This isn't a small thing, and there's so much more that can be said about this, but I want you to see that lens, that understanding as we step into these 4 episodes. Yes, 4 episodes. This is going to be a long video. You already know that if you've clicked on it, but I don't think I could separate these 4 because they are built together and quite possibly, as I've already said, lead to the best thing I've ever seen. That's big praise. Let's break it down. I hope you enjoy this. If you do, leave a like at some point when you hit a moment that you really enjoyed. Hit that like button. You can hold off for now. Let's jump in.
Why we plan. This is why we work so hard when we're at peace. This is why we recruit so carefully and demand so much.
I think this whole point that he's making, that this little monologue here just outlines perfectly the Empire, right? They're going to overreact. They're going to overpush. And it's really going to be the spark that leads to more people joining this rebellion, as we're going to see. So what's being said right here, while this may not be the very thing that leads to the next few episodes, a little bit it does. It really is foreshadowing what's going to happen at the end with the funeral processional and all of that.
I spoke with Emperor Palpatine last night.
Palpatine!
And he's assured me.
Oh boy. I agree, this is what the Empire wanted, because now they can just keep imprisoning people, putting them to work, building and doing. So now really what they're able to do now is build their labor force to do all of the things they want to do to keep control of the entire galaxy. So in a way, this is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy that the rebellion is going to need to happen now, because it's going to get so much worse. But it's also going to get so much worse, which leads to more people joining the rebellion.
Happened at Aldhani like a robbery.
What would you call it?
An announcement.
Such a good line. It is an announcement.
There will be no rules going forward. If you're not willing to risk your conscience, then surrender and be done with it.
No rules. Luthen knows. Luthen knows his whole plan. Everything is coming together. This has been masterfully calculated and put together. And Deirdre Miro is the only one that sees it as an announcement. The beginning of this episode is so integral to the next few moments and the next things we're going to see, because everything that happens with Cassian, with Narkina 5, with all of it, his a reaction and a domino that's falling. Everything has been planned out by Luthen. He's brought Mon Mothma into it, but she doesn't quite see the reality of this rebellion. She still thinks that this can be answered with diplomatic means, that they need a network of people to bring together the votes, to bring together all of the information and the people needed to push back against the Emperor. But Luthen knows the truth. There is no fighting this rebellion without the bloodshed, without the people rising up. It truly is a rebellion and a revolution, not just a diplomatic changing of the guard, taking back power. Luthen knows where this is going, and he knows Mon Mothma knows also. She's just not willing to admit it yet. Beautiful.
Ma'am, sir.
Ma'am, sir.
Sorry, sir. Ma'am. Sorry.
What is your name?
Sorry, ma'am, sir.
We're getting out of here. We're leaving.
To go where?
What do we need to take but the three of us? Get out of the cold and damp. Find somewhere warm and easy. I can make it happen. That's all.
Marva never wants to leave. You should have known that. And isn't this so relatable? Like, we grow old in a place, you want to remain there. She doesn't want to go anywhere. This is her home.
Here?
Take all the money you found and go and find some peace.
I won't have peace. I'll be worried about you all the time.
That's just love. Nothing you can do about that. Let it go.
I'm coming back.
Of course you are.
What a good scene. Oh my goodness. I think that when we see scenes like this, I can't leave, you can't stay, Marva buying into the rebellion, it's building such a good story for Cassian. We're seeing the doubt. He just is still, he's done what he's needed to do. He's taking care of himself. He wanted to take care of his loved ones, but they're pushing him away. And she's pushing him away because of the rebellion. He found the beach. He found the beach. He's going to be hanging out, sipping Mai Tais. See, and even this scene, I think we get to see a picture that some of the planets we've been looking at have been different, and now we're on a new planet, a little bit different.
Excuse me?
He's about to get arrested.
Trying to figure out what's going on.
Charges: civil disruption, anti-imperial speech, fleeing the scene of anti-imperial activity, attempted damage to imperial property.
I'm sorry, there's something wrong.
I wouldn't. We've got enough trouble without a resisting judgment charge.
I'm just a tourist.
Oh, apologies all round then. This used to be a 6-month sentence. 6 years.
6 years?
Used to be a 6-month sentence. And here it is. It's getting worse. Take it up with the Emperor.
There is platter. What's that?
What's Narkina 5? You're gonna find out, my friend. I remember when I first was watching this, I was not quite sure what to expect. I was not ready. I was not ready for what happens over these next few episodes. I'll be honest. I was wondering what they were doing.
On program. Hands behind heads. Feet
On program.
Welcome to Narkina 5. This is an Imperial factory facility. You've all been assessed as label-worthy.
The power-hungry face. He loved that. He loved that too much.
That was level 1 of 3. Our floors are tungstoid steel. Do your time productively, keep to your lane, and this needn't be more than a memory.
Going back now, seeing like there's bits and pieces. They're short-handed. They don't have enough. Like the seeds are there. They're being planted. He's seeing it. Stuff I didn't catch my first time watching through it all.
To the left and stop. Move forward. Move.
Hold your position.
Step on there and stop.
Kino Loy. Here we go. So sterile. So lifeless. It's perfect.
This is Unit 52D. Level 5, Room 2. The D is for day shift. 7 levels of factory, 7 rooms per level, 7 tables per room, 7 men each table. My name is Kino Loy. I'm the 52D unit manager. The 49 men in this room answer to me. Name?
Kiev. Kiev Gurgle.
You won't be back. They only come to pick up the dead and bring their replacements. You're mine now.
And the fact that they're building the parts for the Death Star. Oh.
1 through 7.
Jeez. Look at all that. I thought the sign language, using them to communicate between the floors, I thought that was really an interesting touch and a pretty cool way to show that they are trying to figure out what's actually going on. Now, here, we're going from prison to prison, right? And this is the genius of the way that this episode arc and these episodes are organized. Because what we're seeing is Cassian's in a prison, but so is Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma is stuck where she doesn't want to be. She can't get her funds to use the way she wants to. She has to do everything in secret. She has to pretend she's something else. All of it is just closing in and getting tighter and tighter, more claustrophobic, just like Cassian standing there in that hallway, kind of like freaking out. That's what's going through Mon Mothma's head. The difference is she has to keep an exterior that doesn't let people see that. It's pretty awesome.
Winner gets taste with their food. Top table wins flavor. Last place gets fried.
Oh, you can win taste with your food and flavor. Oh, man. And now back to Ferrix. It's been turned into a prison of its own with the occupying force of the Empire.
She fell.
I think this is a real moment because it's one of those things that hits home for so many people to have to deal with loved ones kind of falling and getting older and going through all of those things. So many people in that, right? And now what are they supposed to do? Cassian's nowhere near, and it's kind of a community caring for her. It's just, again, it's little things like that that just draw us in. That was just a 30-second scene, but a scene that really like gives us the emotion and the tone of everything going on.
We need the Empire to help. We need them angry. We need them coming down hard. Oppression breeds rebellion. Krieger needs theirs.
Not for hire.
Think of
That's a great line. Oppression breeds rebellion. And it's true, right? Like you kick someone, you push someone far enough, and they push back.
The Gorman Front. The Partisan Alliance. Sectorists. Human cultists. Galaxy petitionists.
So again, and we're seeing this. Now we know some of what's coming in season 2, but it's being set up because there's been a plan from the beginning. So this conversation with Saw, between Luthen and Saw, mentioning Gorman, right? We're knowing that the Gorman massacre is coming. All of this is like just little breadcrumbs. Each and every week, breadcrumbs, building to finally get us to the destination. So good. Like just the we're going to hop right into the next episode. I just want to get through these and I'll bring it all together at the end. But I think there were some great moments in this, particularly just the psychological toll that all of this is taking on each and every one of these characters. You're seeing it play into Cassian, into Luthen, all of it. Really, really good. Let's hop in the next episode.
your ISB, aren't you? Worst of the worst.
See, and she's trapped too. Like each of these people is getting trapped in different situations. Like this whole episode arc here of Narkina 5 where Cassian's trapped. All these other characters are getting trapped, getting stuck. The net is tightening. Everything is getting a lot more tense. Whew. That's a good line. The worst thing you could do is bore me. Oh, that transition. Man, I think I need to make a whole video just about the transitions in Andor. Because that is so good.
Fly. Table 3.
Listenings that cause the most damage. We ready? Let's get on with it.
The silence when we're thinking we're going to hear something. So good. The way they've layered this episode and audio engineered what's going on by using all of that to move us seamlessly between scene and scene. That goes so much deeper than just the writing to plan this all out. There's this tension that's being built with Bix being kind of tortured and trying to find this information. And of course, we know that she doesn't know where Cassian is, and she doesn't even know Luthen. She doesn't know his name. But the way they've kind of built this up and this realization now that what Cassian and the rest of these prisoners are going to start to find out is actually that they're really being imprisoned and tortured too, because they're never getting out. There's so many layers to all of this. And we're already at the point where Cassian is willing to try to figure out how to break out, right? But they didn't have to show us that whole lead up. We know that's exactly what he'd be about. And now he's just watching and paying attention and keeping track. Like, it's something, we know he's planning something, but we didn't have to be told it. We were shown it. Beautiful.
What's he saying?
What was that? What is that?
They don't do that often.
Someone didn't load in, they are counting.
Your father may have an opinion. We'll see if he lets you wear it.
He lets me do anything I want.
Unlike you, Mom.
Why don't you go
Oh, man.
How many guards on each level?
You want out?
That's the question.
Turn that part of your mind off.
How many guards on each level, Kino? Come on. How many guards?
Left? Think they're listening? You think they care enough to make an effort?
Like you would know.
I know this. They don't need to care.
Andor. He's all the way through this.
Yes, and that's what I'd like to highlight.
He's the local thief, right? The runaway murderer?
Andor returned to Ferrix 3 nights after Aldani with money in his
I
pocket.
do want to mention this because this is really one of the things that keeps Andor and the writing of Andor and the planning of this, all these episode arcs really, really well done. And it's this idea of being able to keep all of these storylines headed in the same direction. So we just popped over for a minute and a half or 2 minutes of a scene talking about recapping what Bix had given his information. Now we're back to Narkina 5. And I just want to point out that we just keep getting these little segments like breadcrumbs here and there moving us through, but everything is keeping the story going. We don't have to go one whole episode without getting these little updates here or there, and they're woven in really specific, integral, important, and intentional ways.
Hold your program. Tighten up and listen. It's a rumor. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. We have heard nothing. It's just another day.
He's trying to convince himself.
Keep our mouths shut, keep our heads down, until we know what's going on.
Find yourself a husband?
Wasn't on my list of things to do.
Well, you need a widower at this point. Who's left of any value at your age?
Yes. All the good ones are taken.
We've had an influx of Chandrillans here recently. You remember Tay Colmer?
Mon Mothma's smiling. Hold on. I gotta go back to this. This is funny. So I didn't catch this last time I watched. He's making a joke, and just watch Mon Mothma's face. It's good.
Is that the husband?
Wasn't on my list of things to do.
Well, you need a widower at this point. Who's left of any value at your age?
Yes. All the good ones are taken.
We've had an influx of Chandrillans.
That's so good.
I thought I was done. After meeting you and discovering you understood how dangerous Cassian Andor was, and just being in your presence,
Oh, weird. So, and this gets to the way that Tony Gilroy has said he views Cyril Karn. Like, he wants to worship Deidre. He wants to kind of find the acceptance from her, the acceptance he's not getting from his mom. And so he's like just making this plea to like just to accept me, bring me under your wing. It's almost like he's worshiping her. It's so weird. But it also like, yeah, he's this blank slate, as Tony said. This is a blank slate where he just latched on to the first thing that gave him that acceptance. It just so happened to be the Empire.
We need a med tech up here.
See that? This is a big deal because the med tech is also, look, like he's also a prisoner. He's got no boots on. He's barefooted. He's got a different color, but he's also a prisoner. It's their arrogance.
What happened on level 2? You want to keep your men in line. Hold him.
What happened on level 2, Doc? Come on. Kino's thinking. Kino's wondering.
Need a bag and a trolley.
So good. Come on. Say it.
I made a mistake. A man who was just released on 4 ended up back on 2 the next day.
Oh.
Word got out on the floor and then they killed them all.
He wasn't released.
You heard me. No one's getting out, are they? Not now. Not after this.
Program now.
Oh, the truth is coming out. The truth is coming out.
How many guards on each level?
Never more than 12.
Let's go, Kino. He's in it. He's ready. Oh, it's such a good line. Such a good line. Never more than 12. I remember when I first saw this episode, I was like, oh, no way. Like, now we know, right? This is what it is to build tension. And now in the next episode, we know it's going to go off. Let's go. Let's hop into the next episode. Oh, Olaf is gone. Olaf is gone. Never more than 12, though.
They'll replace Olaf tomorrow. That might not happen again until it's too late. I'd rather die trying to take them down than die giving them what they want.
Now that sounds like Luthen. That sounds like Luthen, Andor. Uh-huh. It has to be tomorrow. Like, the conviction he has is what we're seeing the building blocks of this character. The conviction he has to move forward with this is exactly what's going to be important going forward in the rebellion.
No one is getting out!
Yeah, tell him, Kino.
The rumors are true. They're not letting us go.
Ever.
You found it? We're towing it in, sir.
Pilot dead, ship adrift.
I just want to point out, they went from that intensity, right? We know something's going to happen, but we have to wait. Like, that's the hook. I'm not turning off this episode. There's no way I'm giving up. I'm in, I'm interested. Even though they're going to now go to a secondary storyline, they're going to introduce something new and pull me in because they know I'm going to wait. Like all of this building, all of this structure, all of this planning is absolutely perfect. It's like this house of cards that's being built up little bit by little bit. Every little tiny thing has been leading to that moment now where now Kino Loy is giving permission and even agreeing that it's time to do something. And now we wait. But we have to check in on all these other storylines because they're all converging to a point that we don't know about, but eventually this is all leading to the funeral back on Ferrix. Just watch. Yeah. It's trying to make all of these lanes, because even Tony Gilroy in the interviews has said he had to do some really like tricky screenwriting to get all of these characters back for that one funeral.
We are done with counting shifts. There is only then and now. There is only one way out.
He said it, right? He said it now. Like it was planted. I don't remember that. I haven't gone back a ton of times and watched this, but I didn't remember that at the lead up to this, he's already said the line. Such good foreshadowing. Such good writing. I know people are tired of hearing it, but this is the type of planning and attention to detail. Not a single wasted word, action, camera angle, nothing. There's no fluff.
It's a lot to think about.
I'm not thinking about it.
That's the first untrue thing you've said.
This whole scene, just even Mon Mothma and Genevieve O'Reilly's acting in this scene, I think it just all is so well done. She's stiff. She's not moving. She's trying to figure things out. He's calling her bluff, saying, I know you're thinking about it. That's the first lie that you've said this entire time. She knows what she needs to do. She's coming to that realization just like Kino Loy came to that realization in this episode. And now back to Luthen.
If it's a trap, we've already lost.
That's a good point. But what is he talking about, right? Like, there's these hooks. These hooks that were being given. We want to see what's going to happen with Mon Mothma. We want to see what's going to happen with Luthen. It's good.
Don't die till you put up a fight.
Woo! So many good lines in this episode.
One way out.
What did you say to me?
I said nothing.
I mean, if you want to say something, you should say it now.
You start getting them. All right, you lot, back up program. Oh, what's that on? What's
Woo-hoo. Oh, man. They're going to try it. Let's see what happens. Cassian's climbing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's go. The prison break is on. It's on. Let's go. They know it.
You shouldn't be here.
Too late. Nobody there.
On program. Now.
He puts them on program. That's awesome. You can see the dots moving the whole time in the background. Like, they don't have to show what's happening specifically. You can see it. Like, that's a really cool mechanic. A way to show what's moving on the map.
Tell them what to do.
And this is Cassian learning too, right? He's observing. This is going to be what Cassian has to do. He's going to be the one that has to lead. But right now it's Kino Loy.
We are at this moment in control of the facility.
Is that the best you got?
Is that the best you got, Kino? Let's go.
Wherever you are, right now, get up. Stop the work. Get out of your cells. Take charge and start climbing. And that ends today. There is one way out. Right now. The building is ours.
This is it. Oh, it's so good. Do everything you need to get out. One way out. Man. Like everything, the last 3 episodes have been leading. Actually, 4 episodes been leading to this moment. Place behind us.
We can fight half as hard as we've been working.
That's a good line. That's like the message for the whole rebellion, right? Fight half as hard as you've been working. So good. So good. The whole thing. And then just this visual. I love that visual. Just showing them all moving. They're sprinting. They're running. I was not ready for this. This caught me so hard. Oh.
What did he say? Can't swim.
And there is standing on the platform. Like, what? Look at this. Look at this. Absolute beautiful. Okay, I need to pause for a moment because just the way that all built. We'll talk more about this at the end because this next scene, like, I cannot even put into words the way that this was put together and built. The way that Cassian's character is being formed by this experience. Kino knows that they're surrounded by water. He knows that there's only one way out, and he knows he can't swim. And it was just a way to wrap that character up. He was the one that needed to drive it all, but that was as far as he was going to go. Being willing to give us an amazing character and then just in one instant taking it away. What's going on? Why is he, right, putting things together? Spy and the espionage and the layers to all this, because now we're going to see that what Luthen really has been doing is building this network has been way deeper than just a few rebels on Aldhani, than just Val and Sintas and these others. There's layers and layers. He's got senators. He's got ISB officers. I mean, this is so, like, this is the episode that solidified Andor in my mind to be just absolutely epic. I've enjoyed it up until this point, but it really was this moment, this episode that brought it all together.
And what do you sacrifice?
And that's the question. What do you sacrifice, Luthen? Because you just sit and comfortable. That's what Lonnie sees.
Kindness, kinship, love. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago from which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. So what do I sacrifice? Everything.
The echo, the music, all of it. Lonnie's seeing what really it costs. Just think for a moment that in the same episode, that we get the prison break, the Kino Loy monologue, the epic movement of all of that, we also are getting the Mon Mothma internal debate about what she should do. We're getting this breakdown from Luthen, maybe the best lines in all of Andor about giving his life for a sunrise he's not gonna see. Like, this episode is absolutely perfect. I can't get over it. Every moment. And now we see them on the beach. They're free. They made it. They made it to land. This is so good. It's literally, knocking my glasses off. I can't even express. I can't express how absolutely perfect that episode is. And now we have 2 episodes left in season 1 to start wrapping this all up and setting us up for season 2. I really believe that the 4 episodes we just looked at, and again, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I appreciate you for sticking all the way through. I'm going to share some of my thoughts here at the end, and maybe I'll have time stamped it at the beginning. I don't know. But just what has gone on from Andor being arrested to PORD being put in place, the Senate kind of collapsing on itself and infighting, to everything we see in Narkina 5, Bix being interrogated, the net closing in, them ripping apart Ferrex, us finding out there's a spy in the ISB, the Luthen monologue, the Kino Loy monologue, and the character building as we're seeing Andor see what it looks like to be a leader who's willing to give his life for everyone else. Going about it in such a way that says, I'm dead already. Like, everything about this episode is just absolutely epic. But it doesn't work without everything that came before it. Now imagine for a second that Andor was like every other Star Wars show. 8 episodes long. That's all we get. 8 episodes. We don't get this episode. We don't get the episode before it, because everything has to be in this 8 episode thing instead of letting a 12 episode epic story be told. I've said this for years. It's not just about the runtimes, though these runtimes are almost 40 minutes every single week. We don't get that 32-minute episode thrown in. Not only are the runtimes that long, but also we're getting 12 episodes of absolute perfection, of every single minute, every detail, every line, every transition, even from scene to scene, is flawless. I know I'm heaping like huge amounts of praise on this show, but if you just actually watch it with an objective lens and put aside all of the petty differences and things you might despise about Disney that I too do not like. I don't like the sequel trilogy. I won't watch it again, but Andor, I'll watch again and again. I've never gone back to watch Mando Season 2 again, or Mando Season 1, or Kenobi. I've never gone back to watch any of those. I've gone back to watch Andor. And what we get in this episode, this 3rd arc of Narkina 5, everything, the lead up, the setup, the payoff, the tension, all of it is so good. Even characters like Olaf, who were pulled into liking. Yes, he ends up being a plot device in some ways, because it's only through his death that the escape is possible. That's like a biblical motif, that through death there is resurrection. And I'm not saying that that was the intent, but again, these are why these episodes start tugging at the heartstrings, just like Empire Strikes Back, just like A New Hope, just like Return of the Jedi. Why? Because they're pulling on timeless, objective truths that are so impactful. There's nothing like someone giving their lives for the sake of another. Yet that's what we're seeing time and time again in this show. The self-sacrifice. And I think it's going to be the number one thing underlying all of Season 2 of Andor. What do you do when you're put in an impossible position? When the weight of the mission before you is going to actually cost you everything? What do you believe? Reality is, our lives reflect our heart. And we see that in all these characters. That's why they're real. And here's what I mean by that. You know what someone believes by the way they live. I can tell you all kinds of things about myself, about what I believe, about what I think. I can teach that to my children about what I believe, about what I think. I can proclaim that to the world, what I believe and what I think. But none of that matters unless it lines up with my life. Because when my life lines up with my beliefs, you know my beliefs are true. And we see that in Kino Loy. We see that in Cassian Andor. Now, we see that in Mon Mothma. We see that in Luthen. Their beliefs line up with what they do. They're not just in it for self-interest, but instead they believe in something deeper, and that is what pushes them. That is what motivates them. That is what determines their actions. They live out their beliefs. This is what was so beautiful about the story arc in Aldhani concerning Nemec. He lived out his beliefs. There was no one more committed to his own beliefs than Nemec. Clearly, his attention to detail, the way that he would build the model, the things that he would write, the ways that he would think about everything so much so that he couldn't sleep. And he eventually gives his life for what he believes. Do you believe in anything like that? I think everyone wants to believe in something like that. Everyone wants to be a part of something like that. And it's that deep-seated human need that is what's so attractive about Andor. It's compelling. It's beautiful. It draws us in, not just because it's good writing, but because it's building off of these deep-seated universal truths that we all know. There's literally nothing else I can say about this. I just so much enjoy it. I think I do, if I have time, I want to go back and make a video about Andor Season 1, just about the transitions that we see in these shows, the way they go from these storylines to other storylines so seamlessly. It's almost underappreciated and not even talked about. But let's see if I have time. If that's something you want to see, let me know down below. Guys, thanks for being here. I'll catch you on the next one. And oh, by the way, if you want to get a shirt from my store that says One Way Out, make sure you click on the link down below. You can get one for yourself. Mine's in the mail. It's coming soon. Hopefully we'll be here before Season 2 hits, and you can grab one as well. Guys, thanks for being here. I'll catch you on the next one. Remember, the Force will be with you always.